What's going on, Jeromes? We're back. Daily Jeromes live stream Wednesday. Happy hump day out there to those who celebrate. Come along day part of blah, blah, blah. Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. Central Time-ish. Well, I think we're on time today. There you go. Thanks for coming along and making this part of your day. Got a lot of Qs. We got some A's. Let's go. Evan Cascanaway, did you see Kyle Long is making a comeback? Should we sign him? I would sign him, but don't have him be your primary guy. Like, don't rely on him to be your starter because he hadn't been healthy 16, 17, 18, and 19. He hadn't finished a full season since he signed his extension with the Bears. So I say bring him back. The year off might have done his body some good. And yeah, just if you sign Kyle Long, sign someone else and draft someone else. But yeah, anything you can get on him will be great. And he may want to get some revenge on the Bears. Things didn't end on the best terms there. Stanley Maros. Hey, Unique, no franchise tag. Well, remember when you thought you'd get to play opposite Daniel Hunter? Can we offer you our finest $13.5 million over 3, and you can reap the benefits of Mr. Hunter? We're serious this time. Nah. Like, even though he did great work, 5 sacks, including I think it was 3 strip sacks in 6 games. Nah. Griffin Creer. How does Darisaw, Thuney, Bradbury, Cleveland, and O'Neal sound for a starting line? Very good. Impossible. Unlikely, but very good. Astrozeo Sports. My dream offseason, sign Carlos Dunlap, check. Sign a backup quarterback so Kirk actually gets his butt moving to work his job so he doesn't throw 10 picks again. We go 1-5. Sign a veteran cornerback for an affordable price. Draft Barmore at 14. All of those could easily be attainable, except for maybe the signing or drafting of a backup quarterback. I think Kirk Cousins, we're actually going to talk about that. How Kirk just magically never has any competition behind him because he knows. Like, he knows what's up. Let's see. So tomorrow, Kirk's backup QBs. Even going back to his time in Washington after they got rid of RG3, it was never anything to write home about. So, Kirk knows. Jacob Ward. The video you made explaining compensatory picks was awesome. I never really knew what it meant. Great contact. Hey, thank you. If you don't know what compensatory picks are, go check it out. We did a video yesterday, went through the entire process in as most simplistic terms as possible because that's the level that I operate on. Yeah. Matt Hammernick. What do you think of left tackle Golden Dome Liam Eichenberg? No. In the second round, I believe we trade back in the first. Oh, that was a trombone, by the way. Back in the first and pick up second rounder. Could have him redshirt a year behind Reef and then let me in 2022. I like him. He's a little bit of a plotter. I don't think he's going to be a left tackle at the NFL level. I think he might have to move to the right side. But tough dude, serious anchors, got great size. Length, I think he's good to go there. I don't think Notre Dame's has pro day yet, but just from the eyeball test from film, like he does look good. Where all the Notre Dame offensive linemen, like there's no Zach Martin in this group. There's not even a Mike McGlinchey, but I mean, they're all tough. I mean, they're all good. You look at Kramer, you look at Banks. Yeah, they're all pretty damn good. Tim 03. If the Vikings landed Javon Holland, could you see him as a day one starter? Yes. Also, what happened to Kalfani Muhammad? Well, so Javon Holland, they'd have to maneuver because I think that he goes top end of the second. Well, I think he goes second round minimum. Like I don't think he goes in the first round. But Javon Holland is a really nice guy. He's great coverage safety, can play in the slot, can play corner. He is sort of a hybrid corner safety that's sort of the rage in this draft. You look at Elijah Molden in that same mold as well. So I like him. He's been on the draft radar for a couple years now. I would still put him behind Richie Grant. I would put him behind Trevor Moehrig. Moehrig is 1. Richie Grant is 2. That's pretty close, though. Also, what happened to Kalfani Muhammad? I was hoping he'd be a kick returner for us. So Muhammad was a running back that the Vikings signed mid-season, former Bronco. Where else had he played? But anyways, he was a return specialist at Cal and a bit of a do-it-all running back. He was also like an all-world track guy. So I think he ran a 4.27. A 40 or something ridiculous like that. But, he never got the time of day, never got on the field. And I thought, given the Vikings struggles in the return game, maybe there'd be something there. And you'll notice, so Muhammad in the NFL, I believe he took one to the house for the Broncos in preseason, if I remember right. Or maybe it was just a long return. Anyway, but you'll notice in the NFL as well as in college, Muhammad returned kicks, but he never returned punts because returning punts is a whole nother skill set. The trajectory is different. The spin, the English that a punter can put on the ball is much more different. And it just, so trajectory of a kickoff, it's a little bit flatter, and it's easy, straightforward. And plus, when you catch that ball, you're going to have a ton of space for return if return is going to be on. Whereas a punt, generally, you're going to have a lot of air under it, a lot of hang time, giving time for the punter's gunners to get downfield, beat their cornerback, and get there. So not only do you have to contend with an awkward arc, plus you have to deal with defenders around you right away. You have to decide if you're going to fair catch it. Plus, if there is going to be a return, there's generally going to be dudes around you right away. That's why the average kick return is 22 yards, and the average punt return is 9? Yeah, so it's a completely different skill set. So remember this when you're looking at free agents in the draft. Not every player who returns kicks can return punts. Where generally, if you could return punts, you could return kicks because there's a lot more skill involved in returning punts. There ends my 10 talk. Thank you. Miles. Most surprising move the Vikings make this offseason: sign, cut, extension, trade, pick. Oh, I got to stay up to date with the news. Man, there's lots of things going on. It's hard to take an hour off of the news because there's so many things going on. Plus, Minneapolis team. The cap got set today. There's cuts being made all over the place. Emmanuel Sanders got cut. You want to bring Manny Sanders in as wide receiver 3. Woo! Most signing move the Vikings make. Cutting Anthony Barr, is that much of a surprise? I don't think I don't think anything insane happens like cutting Harrison Smith or trading Thielen or trading Hunter. I think Hunter gets extended. I think Harrison gets extended. I think Reef is back on a small extension. So I don't think anything crazy happens. And in the draft, maybe they go Kyle Pitts at 14. Oh, that would be dirty. That would be so dirty. Little known perfection. What is Olabisi Johnson's future with the Vikings? Do you see him as a guy who will get a second contract? Probably not, but I think he'll play some good special teams, and I think he just massively overachieved his rookie year, coming in as a 7th-round pick. I do like BC Johnson as a wide receiver 4 or 5. I don't think he's going to be a wide receiver 2, 3, even though I was pretty bullish on him, but of course, I'm bullish on everyone. Except for Justin Jefferson. But if you're bullish on everyone, and if they play well, you're always right. So that's kind of fun. But he does have a role to play on this team. I don't think he'll be a wide receiver 3, though. KC Wall. Happy Watermelon Wednesday. What do you think is the thing that is holding the Vikings back the most? I feel like it's the D-line. We're getting starters back next year, so it's something else. I think it's offensive line, where they are completely competent run blocking, as evidenced by Dalvin's phenomenal season last year, but they just had this hole, and I think we know what the hole was. And interior pass rush, like teams caught on as the season went along, is that if you just put some heat on the 3 on the interior, no matter who's there, you can get some stanky done on Kirk Cousins, and you can kill a drive. You can end a drive on 3rd down. You can get Kirk to make a big mistake. So, you got to get that fixed. If you get left guard fixed, I think that completely transforms the Vikings offense and the team as a whole. Connor May. Great that Bailey has gone, but now watch him be good again. I don't know. Also, who was on board when we drafted Carlson? That's a good looking question. Plus, remember the Vikings trade up. Okay, 20. I do remember guys like Jamarco Jones were on board because I was remember jonesing for some offensive line depth. I don't think there's anyone actually I might be wrong. We'll see. Oh, Ryan Connolly, Vikings legendary linebacker, who's currently on the squad. Let's see, where's Daniel Carlson? I picked the wrong year. I did. 2018. Damn, Daniel. All right, so 167. Yeah, because the Vikings traded from the Jets. Oh, there's Jamarco Jones. So I thought they were trading up for Jamarco Jones, who hasn't really done much, but hasn't really gotten the time of day either. See, J.K. Scott has been a decent punter for Green Bay. MVS. You notice that Green Bay always hammers the compensatory picks. They're really good at working that system. Let's see, John Kelly. Let's see who else here. I don't think there's any Pro Bowlers, but just looking through. Russell Gage is a decent wide receiver for the Falcons as like a third, fourth option. Luke Falk, no, even though he started a couple games. Tanner Lee, no. Oh, St. Brown, I guess. Another Packers commensurate pick. Go figure. St. Braxton Berrios, no. Well, no. Kobe Gossett, Vikings legend. Danny Etling, no. Aude Aruna. I kind of like Aude Aruna, even though he came into the league at 26 years old. Devontae Downs was solid for a hot second. Just never really got over that ACL. Matala, the rugby player that they're trying to make into something, no. I mean, Bo Scarp, no. Richie James, I liked. It hasn't really gotten it going with the Niners. So, I guess Philip Lindsay, who was a UDFA. But, I mean, long story longer, I mean, they could have taken Mike Boone in the 5th round. Nah. But, yeah, I would have taken Jamarco Jones. And maybe he would have panned out here. Although, I don't really trust Rick Dennison. What can you do? Tim03, do you think the Vikings will be looking for the Jeromes Curse replacement for agency that they couldn't find this year? Well, Josh Metellus and Brian Cole were sort of supposed to be those guys in the draft. Metellus, a bit more of a traditional safety. Not really a free safety, not really a box safety either. But Brian Cole was that guy where he was a box safety, but he played a ton of slot cornerback. Actually, I think he was Mississippi State slot cornerback in 2019. And yeah, obviously he didn't make the team, end up on the Dolphins practice squad, I believe. But maybe they can go to the draft. A guy like Hufanga, a guy like Wiggins, a guy like Lucan could fit that role. A guy like Jacoby Stevens from LSU, probably get him later on day 3. Isaac Ackley. Is Josh Klein available this offseason? He's right there. He's right there, baby. Also, what do you think of Illinois' wide receiver, Imadara Bebe? So, Imadara Bebe was a USC transfer. I believe he's 6'. Is he 6'2 or 6'3? He's a big receiver. So he's 6'2". I think he's 200 pounds. Has all the physical skills in the world. Just never really got it together. For lack of a better term, that's a bad comparison. I was going to compare him to Cordero Patterson, but he's not in that realm. But he's a great athlete. Just never really got it together at USC or at Illinois. But I mean, as a day 3 late round guy, sure. But I mean, there's a lot more receivers who are a lot more athletic or a lot more polished. But I mean, he's going to end up somewhere, probably end up on a practice squad, play some special teams. And if he can get his route running going, like, he's a great athlete. So maybe it will be something. Stanley Morris. Teams like the Vikings with limited cap or just enough to make one big move lost out today with Scherf. Getting the franchise tag, takes him off the market, making Thuney top guard. Or it's bidding war, price going up for Thuney's side. Well, good thing for the Vikings is that it is a deep guard class, man. Like, there's going to be tons of dudes just dropping like flies. Like, Gabe Jackson got cut. Zeitler's going to get cut. Oh, XFL update. What's going on? Since we first acquired the XFL, we have been focused on identifying partners in a vision. The CFL has expressed that similar sentiment. Is the XFL and the CFL merging? They're in discussions with the CFL. Never mind. Oh, Jeffrey Pollock got another job, but I thought that after he ruined the WSOP, he won't get another gig. Oh, well. Anyway. There's going to be a lot of guards out there. Jacob Ward, Skull from Idaho. You the man? Thank you. If Hunter is traded and we get a plethora of picks, including a first and second this year from a team that is picking 20 or later, what's your draft board looking like? BPA. Just straight up BPA. It would be that either way, but also the Vikings slide into a nice stretch where defensive tackles are going to go top end of the second round. Guy like Landon Dickerson. Hell, if Dickerson is your guy, just draft him in the 20s. And just go get him. I love him. But yeah, BPA. Little on perfection. Do you think Kirk is the kind of person to embrace being a mentor for a young quarterback? No. I just don't. I just really don't get that vibe. Where, I don't know, maybe it's a little bit of social awkwardness, but I don't really get the notion. Now, we're obviously not in those rooms, so we may be completely way off. But, I mean, do you really see or hear like a big-time relationship between Kirk and Jake Browning, or Kirk and Nate Stanley, or Kirk and Kyle Sluter. Definitely not there. Or Kirk and Heineke wasn't here. But he gets along great with Mannion. Like, they're golfing buddies, mainly because Mannion is not a threat. It's like how Tom Brady's not a great mentor either. But Tom Brady, with his time with the Patriots, never befriended the young quarterbacks they brought in. Ryan Mallett or Jimmy G or Jabroni Brisket or Kevin O'Connell or Rohan Davey. You just never, no, you're trying to take my job. But you know who he is great friends with? Matt Castle. Because he did not see Matt Castle as a threat. Because he's Matt Castle. But no, I don't see him. Harvey Melber. What percentage do you think young Kubiak will have in guards of say? Free agents. I think he'll have some input, especially since he is the grand poobah on the offensive side of the ball. Zimmer's like, I like that wide receiver. Good for you. Go back to your side of the building. So, yeah, I think Kubiak will have some say if the Vikings do draft a quarterback or offensive personnel, especially wide receivers, given his background with wideouts as well. Tad Skull, Space Jam 2 trailer is out. Are you looking forward to watching the movie? No. Like, I was a child of the original Space Jam plus LeBron. Nah. Miles. When will the Daniil situation come to a head? Well, some of those big free agent edge rusher deals, once they start getting plucked, I think that's when it might start up again. Where Shaq Barrett, he didn't get tagged, right? Like Shaq Barrett, Judon, Yannick, some of the big edge free agent deals, once they get hammered out, I think that'd be like, Pulford Skull. Thuney, Shaq Barrett, Galladay, you're a head coach, and Spielman says you can have one. Who are you taking? Specifically for the Vikings, I would take Thuney. Although imagine Galladay with Thielen and Jefferson. Wow. Or Shaq Barrett with Daniil. Yeah, I'll still take Thuney. Gerald Smith. Should we trade for Stephon Gilmore? I'd say third pick. Probably take a little bit more on that, even though he's coming off the ACL. And I believe he's in a contract year. I believe that's right. So it's going to cost you a little bit, but I would buzz the tower, see what's up. Greg Newsom III just ran a 4.3140. Eric Stokes ran a 4.28. Of course, speed ends and everything. Cameron Dantzler. But how much does this improve his draft stock? Well, I think Newsom couldn't really improve it that much. I think that he was going to be a first-round pick. I think that he worked his way in. He was a feisty dude, man. Just watch the way that Northwestern, Ohio State Big Ten championship game turned on a dime after Newsom went out. Like, he was handling Olave. He was handling Justin Fields. Like, Greg Newsom II is going to be a dog, man. Like, I'm not ready to put him above J.C. Horn, but I think he will be the cornerback 4 in this class. Stokes, I think people lost their mind with Stokes. Like, Stokes isn't even the best cornerback on his team. Tyson Campbell, I still think, takes that honor. Plus, Newsom for me, I always prefer guys that are great in man, because this isn't correct, but I believe it's easier to teach a guy who's great in man how to play zone as opposed to teach a guy who's great in zone to play man. That's oversimplification, but that generality does seem to hold true. Where Stokes, probably a better zone cornerback. Campbell, you could probably throw him in that situation as well. It's just how they roll on defense at Georgia. But, yeah. People had Stokes above Newsom and above J.C. Horn. I was like, no. If Stokes was cornerback 8 before his combine, why is he all of a sudden cornerback 4? It doesn't change his tape. And Stokes, again, I like Stokes. I'm not trying to throw him under the bus, but his time speed doesn't sync up with play speed. It just doesn't. But so I would take Stokes in the 4th round. I'm not touching him day 2. Nah. How late do you think Rousseau will be available? It'll be late enough for the Vikings trade back a few spots and get him acquiring a 2nd-round pick. Favorite prospect this year draft. Blah blah blah. I think he's solidly going to be a top 20 pick. I think it's unlikely that he gets past the Raiders, because they're at, where are they at? They're at 19. No, Washington's at 19. No, they're at 18 because they missed the playoffs. No, 17. Close enough. I don't think he gets out of the top 20. Well, we'll say top 21 because if Indianapolis sticks and picks, Ballard likes him long on the defensive line. So, I mean, Russo with Buckner would be pretty good. Hey, let's know where you're watching from. Give a couple shout outs. Lockhart, have you ever hit a raccoon? No. If you could force one trade to happen on draft day, what would it be? Trade down from 14 with the Steelers, get to 24. You get 24, their second round pick, and their fourth round pick. Just completely gouge your eyes up. 3, do you have any issues with a player being drafted with criminal records? Depends what the crime is. Yeah. Where, if they got busted with pot in college, or, got a DUI, obviously those aren't great, especially the DUI because you're putting other people in danger. But if it's something like that, no, not really. But if it's something legitimately serious like abuse, especially against women or children, definitely have issue with. And yeah, probably would be a deal breaker. But you see that teams do sort of negotiate their way around it. You look at Tyreek Hill with the Chiefs. You look at Jeffrey Simmons with the Tennessee Titans. You look at Joe Mixon with the Bengals. I mean, teams will find a way to be like, but something that, so people will take players off draft boards, but I don't do. Like if they have, say they got in an altercation with another male, I don't really have that big a problem with that. Where, yes, it does go back to character and impulse issues, but I mean, if you're fighting another dude, what do young guys do, right? Jack Leashide, or if it's securities fraud or insider trading, like Michael Kendricks, bring it on in. Jack Leashide, what position is most likely to be addressed in free agency? Guard. Given how the Vikings can easily clear cap and given the depth of the guard class, why the hell not? Oh, the Titans just released Malcolm Butler. Woo! Man, things are getting nuts. I love it. Next up, Rohit and Apati, do you think there's a good chance the Vikings don't go after good free agents so that they will have more compensatory picks next year? It shouldn't preclude you from doing that. Nah. Now, like if you have a chance to sign Joe Thuney, sign Joe Thuney. If you have a chance to sign, let's see, Austin Blythe or Ethan Posich, guys with expiring contracts, now just go do it. T-Rag, I mean, you can't be tied up with draft picks that you might get next year. T-Rag, how funny would it be if the Jets lead in a bidding war for Thuney by the Sons of the Vikings? Yes, fuel the dumbest rivalry in sports history a little bit more, and the flames rise higher. Robbie, did you see the Spielman interview on PFT? No. What do you think about his idea about making the playoffs into the most important thing rather than going all in for a Super Bowl? No. I didn't watch his interview, but that's kind of stupid. No. You play to win the game. Bulford Skull. Trade Barr to New England for Gilmore? No. Nah. Griffin Career. I think Aziz can be a 12-sack guy in the NFL. Yes. And I think that Aziz, like, he's undersized and raw, redshirt sophomore. I believe he's only I don't think he's 260. But he can come in, a guy like Aldon Smith, his rookie year with the Niners, where he wasn't a starter, but he played like 450 snaps, I want to say. And he only played on third down, and he got after it. Aziz can do that. Like Aziz, whenever odds come out for Defensive Rookie of the Year, I'll bet on Aziz because I think the odds on him are going to be pretty long, and it is a flashy numbers award. So, I mean, if Aziz comes in and gets 10, 11, 12 sacks being a part-time player, woo, give him that trophy. Let's go. Matt Hammernick, we all know how much us Vikings fans love drafting kickers. Could you see the Vikings using 7th round pick on Evan McPherson out of Florida? I think he might go 6th round. That's gross. But if there was a kicker to spend a pick on, McPherson is it. I think that he's probably going to be the only. Well, I think 2 specialists will be drafted. I think Max Duffy, the punter from Kentucky, will get picked as well. Man, what the Vikings take both? They do have the picks to do it. I mean, it's not like the Vikings are going into the draft with 7 picks only. Spartus, I think today is Trey Lance's pro day. Any chance to do a video on his scores after they're released? Yeah, sure. Is it today, though? Probably would have heard something. Oh, well. MJ the GOAT. If you put Jefferson at number 1, would Brian call to YouTube? You're crazy. Oh, yeah, probably. How do you call YouTube, though? I'm calling the manager of YouTube. Spartus, do you think the Dolphins could realistically open up a trade deal that include the following? Vikings receive 318, Dolphins get 14, and Danielle? No. No, it'd be awesome, but no. Andy Shong, if Kirk agrees to restructure his contract to a team-friendly deal, but in return gets the Tom Brady treatment of picking and choosing players that best support him, Brady doesn't even get that. No, in Tampa, no, he never got that treatment in New England. And in Tampa, players just wanted to play with him. So they came in and they took smaller deals. Would you agree to if you're him spilling? Well, you can't put it formally in writing. So it'd have to be Cousins going on faith, wink, nod. Or it's like, and then if they didn't do it, what's Cousins going to do? Go to the league? He's like, hey, they didn't follow through on this shady agreement that was never in writing, and it's probably against the CBA. Westworld. Is Cliff Kingsbury the right coach for Arizona? I don't know. Like, I don't have a really good feel on Cliff Kingsbury. Like, he sort of drove Texas Tech into the ground. I liked his work as an offensive coordinator. So as an offensive mind, I think he's certainly up there. You saw what he did in Houston with Case Keenum. You saw what he did at A&M with Johnny Football. And Texas A&M, I think that the offense is heading in the right direction, but as an overall head coach, I don't know. Cody Sandstrom, it wouldn't be the biggest or flashiest signing, but a guy like Malcolm Butler, who just got cut, bring him on. Sure, yeah, I would bring on Malcolm Butler, should have been Super Bowl MVP. Chris Danny Hansen, is Dak worth his contract? No, I would not put Dak in the stratosphere with Mahomes. But Dak in that offense last year before he got hurt was pretty damn good. Was really, really damn good. Robbie, which one do you prefer, guacamole or hummus? Which one is more overrated? I like them both. We generally make our own hummus. So if you get commercial bought hummus, they're going to have like canola oil and stuff in it. But it's a really good hummus with some tahini and some chickpeas, a little bit of olive oil. It's just really, really good. It's good. Plus, you can put like roasted peppers or roasted eggplant hummus. Baby smooth. Baby, you guys do going. Plus, guac is amazing. But overrated, I'd probably say guac. I think hummus is extremely underrated. Or just like most generic Middle Eastern meal of kebabs and a pita and some hummus and some yogurt and some peppers and onions. Like, that's really good. It's amazing. Plus, there's a kebab joint that I go to in LA where they do, it's lamb. Yeah. Or you get the 50-50 with Cristobal platter where it's half lamb, half meat. So, baby, come on. Let's go. Road Anapati. Who would you rather take with our first 2 picks? Barmore and Cleveland or Darisaw and McNeil Odigizua? I'll take Darisaw and McNeil. Yeah. It's not really that close either. All right, so that's it. As a Daily Jerome's live stream. I'm glad that we did it because it's raining and I was worried that the power was going to go out. But thanks for coming along. Subscribe for Daily Vikings Takes. You guys are the best. Skull, production value.